Don't you wanna stay? Have a glass of lemonade. Talking business, chilling in the shade.
Welcome to Baddies with Business. I'm your host, Malliron Hodge. This season, season 8, we are talking to a few of our incredible speakers that you can expect to see at the 2026 Baddies with Business retreat. Learn and grow as we talk about how being a baddie and business go hand in hand. Enjoy. Baddies and friends, we are back for another episode in season 8, showcasing incredible baddies and also speakers and workshop leads at our upcoming Baddies with Business retreat. So without further ado, we have Sarah Powell, our incredible dancer. Sarah, inform the people a little bit more about yourself and your business and your hobbies, the things you enjoy doing.
Hey, well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Malliron and to Baddies with Business for having me on here, for curating this space for Black women to live out what's inside and to be able to build and thrive and be successful in the dream and the passion that they're building out. So I just want to appreciate you for that. That is a baddie thing to do. And so we're really grateful. I'm really grateful to also be a speaker. That is amazing. And I'll get into why that really touches me, just because of like what I'm bringing to the table and being able to bring Afro dance and into kind of more corporate spaces. I think is powerful, not only for what I'm passionate about, but also for the culture and what how we perceive Black arts, you know. So a little bit about me. I am a Afro dance artist and instructor, and I'm the founder of DWSP, which is Dance with Sarah Powell. A very original name, but it's straight to the point. It's SEO friendly, okay? Baddies, SEO, we know it. But yeah, so I've been dancing professionally in the Afro dance space. So essentially, Afro dance is contemporary African dance. You may have heard of Afro beats. You may have heard of Amapiano, artists like Burna Boy or Tyla or Thames. Those are some of the big names. Davido, some of the big names that have been able to cross over to other styles and become globally recognized. And so the music that they make is essentially the music that we dance to. And if you're on TikTok or if you're on social media, you've probably seen it. You've probably seen a lot of our moves. And it's just a viral moment for Afro dance online. And I've had the opportunity to dance professionally for 10 years. I was able to dance with some of the biggest artists in the game. But now my focus is Afro dance to the world. I have a knack for dance, but specifically for teaching. And so being able to make Afro dance accessible to the world, but also giving it the platform and the excellence and the dignity that it deserves. So it's a movement for the passion that I have for Afro dance and what it's done for me therapeutically, but also a movement for how Black arts and African arts are perceived on a global scale and how they're being respected and valued on a global scale. Because a lot of times we see a lot of appropriation, we see a lot of appreciation for the shine, but not for the depth. And so you're not putting Afro dance at the same level as ballet. And that's part of our fault too, but I'd like to change that narrative. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Hobbies: I love to dance, I love to eat food, I love to binge shows. I love me some shows. I love me some shows. And I love music.
Yes. Y'all, Sarah and I were just talking about it before we get into Dance with Sarah. Sarah and I were just talking about it from the moment we met. I was like, Sarah gonna be my friend. I didn't even tell her this. I was just like, she gonna be my friend. And then I found out that she danced because someone happened to mention it. And I was like, I need to figure out a way to get to where she is to take a class. And then I was
Oh
like,
my
I can't
God.
figure it out, but I'm going to start following her and I'm going to start practicing some of those moves that I have seen, but I have never like had the confidence to actually practice those. And so, Sarah, I just want you to know that I'm glad that we are now friends. You know, my dreams have come
Me
true.
too. Me too. Cause I was feeling the same way about you. I was like,
Mhm.
yo, Matt, I mean, let me not cut you off, but I have something to say
Mhm.
about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way we met, like you were just such a, I don't know if you were full time or if they had like contracted you or what, but all I knew was like, this one is cut from a different cloth and it's giving me fresh, it's giving me life. So I was just like super excited. Like when I saw you in the space, I was like, okay, like this is where I belong. Like
Mhm.
now I'm starting to see people that I feel like are like-minded in me, not just based on like race and how we look, but just
Yeah.
mindset. Um, and so I was like, oh yes. And then I found out about Baddies with Business, and I didn't know how at the time I was still working like corporate or
Mhm.
nonprofit, you know? So I didn't have my own business that I knew. But
Yeah.
I just felt like what you were doing was so cool. And I was like, man, like this is fire. Like the fact that she can do this and it's real and she got a website and it looks good and the branding is on point and she's, putting together these events and she's helping people through it and I can tell she's passionate about it. It was just really inspiring. And I had a feeling that like, I don't know how, but somehow we're gonna cross
Yeah.
paths. So I was like, follow. I was like, I cannot let this girl out of
Mhm.
my radar.
Yeah. I was like, Sarah, I'm gonna follow you
Or
wherever
this
you
woman.
go. I'm there. I'm there. So yes, y'all. Thank you for giving me my flowers because it be tough in these entrepreneur streets. It be tough, and so the child. We gonna get into
It's
it.
a
We
lot.
gonna get into it. Okay. So Sarah, I love something that you shared with like bringing Afro dance to the world, and not only one, I think a lot for many people, it is like, oh, they're just hearing about it. They may have heard the songs before. They didn't necessarily know the dance. They may have seen it and it have felt like something that was far off. And I think social media has done this great job of being able to bring the music and the culture into people's faces. And also, you said something really powerful. It's like people put ballet here, but they put Afro dance here. And you may not be able to see them in this moment. It's like there's different layers. And I love the way that you named around like you want to elevate it to the space that it deserves to be and
Yes.
celebrate it. Not only thinking about in the continent, across the world and being
Yeah,
honored for the culture and the richness that it is. And so one, thank you for
exactly.
doing that. And I wanted to just give you space to talk more about like you kind of shared a little bit of the catalyst, but what else is like driving your passion for ensuring that Afro dance gets all the flowers that it deserves? Not only, now honoring the past, but thinking about the future as well.
Yeah, no, I think you said that perfectly. You said it perfectly. Well, the first thing I'll say is what Afro dance did for me on a personal level. Like before I was able to actually reflect on like my identity as a daughter of immigrants. My dad is African. He's West African from Cameroon. My mom is French. And then I grew up here. So I always lived at the intersection of like, first of all, I'm biracial, but also the intersection of cultures. Um, by the way, almost every single Black person like in France is African. So like here, Black Americans are Black Americans. Like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, there's the past and everything like that. Whereas in France, Black people are like first gen Africans. Like, so the culture of African music in France is mainstream. The same way that like hip hop is mainstream here, it's mainstream there. And then you also have the hip hop there too, because Black American culture is, I mean, global, right? But the African culture is very, very prominent. Um, my dad is Cameroonian, like I mentioned. I grew up in America, so sat at the intersection of being biracial, multi-ethnic, but then also looking Black or light skinned in in an American context, but then having this like, my Blackness comes from Africa. So it's like, where do I kind of fit in? But I just always saw that thread throughout my life. And I grew up in the Northeast. I grew up in Maryland, right outside of DC. And there's a lot of different cultures there. I went to also an international school. So I was always able to stay very connected to my African roots. And one thing about me as a biracial woman, I always gravitated to my Black side. So this is very controversial, I guess, in the biracial community. But for me, I really embraced my Black side. And that was the Sierra, the Destiny's Child, the R&B, the hip hop. Like that was very salient because of where I grew up in America. But that was also like the African, like the Afro beats and how it was emerging, because Afro beats and stuff like that is actually pretty recent. It's a new style in a way, because it's mixing the traditional dance with the contemporary global influence. So we've seen a huge evolution in the past 20 years, I want to say. So when I'm in middle school, it's like starting to come up and it's starting to bud and it's starting to take a life of its own, with it really breaking out, I want to say, when I was in college. And so I just always felt that connection. In high school, I didn't really have a hobby. I really just was a very social girly. I liked to go out and party, and I liked boys, and I liked, I liked just having fun. And it wasn't always the most sane type of fun. And I think when I discovered dance, and specifically Afro dance, it just captivated my attention to where it gave me something that I wanted to work towards. Before, it was like I was kind of working towards just anything. I guess what my parents wanted, or, what it would take to be cool or accepted, just normal things you have as a teenager. But then when I encountered Afro dance, it was like, oh, like this is worth my time. This is worth my training. This is like consuming me. And what it really did for me as well is that it really helped me as it pertains to mental health. And it gave me something to work towards, but there's also a lot of therapeutic benefits to dance. And so how I saw it kind of captivate my life for the better, give me something to work towards, give me something where I could kind of like football or basketball, or, a sports would do to, a high school student. It was kind of like that for me, where it gave me something that I was truly passionate about. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it was helping me not only physically, but it was helping me mentally, and it was growing me. So I want to be able to share that richness. And one of the main characteristics of Afro is joy. So most people can't listen to it and not just be happy and want to have fun, So being able to share that with the world is also like the deeper layer of, not only do we need to be respected, but also like there is this gift inside Afro dance and Afro inspired music that the world needs right now. There's a light and a freedom that it carries that the world needs. So.
Ooh, okay. You shared so many incredible moments from your upbringing to just, I was initially going to say you finding Afro dance, but it actually found you. It found you in this place that you needed. It found you and kind of elevated you to a different place, took you working with professionals. And something I would love for you to dig into is like, took you at working with various professionals in the industry. You went corporate, but you came back to it. And so kind of thinking about your journey thus far, can you share a little bit more about, what was that like spark that you had to come back to your love, your first love of Afro dance?
Oh, to be honest, it's like there was no choice. It was like I've tried to, as much as Afro dance has elevated me, I think, and you're absolutely right, it exposed me to a different world. Not only internally, but it exposed me to the entertainment industry. So I think once you get a taste of that, and like all the people you know are influencers and all the people you see are like doing these things, your vision of life kind of shifts. And this was happening in my early 20s. So as I'm figuring out like what life is and what adulthood is, and I'm seeing like everybody I know, has 50K, 100K followers or whatever. And, people are like on stage with like these, or not even on stage, like hanging out with like these artists that I've been listening to and that I love so much. And I'm seeing them, and now I'm being asked to be on stage with them, and I'm seeing them, and it's like, it becomes kind of normal. And I think it rewired me to be like, it sounds silly, but it felt like there's more to life than this. Like, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, because so much of it was excitement, and then there was the nightlife. And so much of it is like high adrenaline, which is not always good. But it showed me like there's life, like there's like vibrancy, there's life, there's something more than just what I was experiencing before, which was, like just day-to-day things.
Yeah.
And I think it spoke something in me, like I was made for more. I was just made for more. Like, I'm not satisfied with something that's traditional and conventional. And I'm not satisfied with my life just being like, and again, there's nothing wrong with this.
Right.
If that's you, because I believe it's some people's callings as well, But for me, it was like, I'm not satisfied with going to a 9 to 5, coming home, going to happy hour with the girlies on the weekends, and starting all over again on Monday,
Right.
and then maybe getting married and having a kid, and it just started like, it just wasn't very fulfilling to me. But at the same time, I will say that with the things that I mentioned about dance, it also took me to a dark place, because there's a lot of comparison, there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of like wondering like, well, why are they succeeding and I'm not good enough, and I'm not as talented, because everything is you being rated on how you look, how many views you have, how many likes you have, how skilled you are. And so it got to be heavy, and I wanted to leave at a moment. Corporate's not that bad. Like, I'm making more money than most of my dancer friends.
Yeah.
And like, I have a stable job, and at least here, like, I'm confident here. Like, here, I'm not being judged. I mean, I am, but it's a different thing. Like, I felt like I can handle that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like what I really wanted. And I think it started to take a hit to my mental health, because now I wasn't dancing from a place of joy and purity anymore. It was so much rooted in acceptance and politics and approval and validation. So I wanted to give up, but the dream couldn't die.
Yeah.
So even if people that have followed my journey, even maybe you would have seen, like, there were a few years where it was like radio silence. Like, I'm not dancing. I'm not, like, it's gone. It looked like my career was completely dead.
Yeah.
But it was like, I would try to walk away and I just couldn't. To the point where I would like literally like not even watch dance. Like, I couldn't even see dance because it would make me so upset, because they would just not leave me neutral. And I would just be like, well, I'm not doing anything about it. So I would try to ignore it, but the dream just wouldn't let me go, till finally it was like, okay, let me just do this so I can just put it behind me. And I'm finding so much fulfillment in this new iteration because of the healing and the break and the maturing and stuff, where it's like I'm coming back to it from a place of purpose now.
Yes.
And I'm going back to my first love in a way. So I'm glad the dream didn't die, but I will say that I wanted it to die.
Yeah. And you bring up a really great point. One around like dance, like came to you at a moment that you needed it. And then it came back to you to remind you why. But then you're also bringing up this really great point, which makes me think about like entrepreneurship is like you are blessed with this idea, but you don't necessarily know why, and you don't necessarily know how to do it. And so sometimes you may take different paths thinking that this is the right one, when the world will tell you, that's not what we want. Like, we see this thing. And so for you, you went back to your love, but you went back with a purpose. You went back and pivoted to like the thing that you need. And I think that speaks to, entrepreneurship is there might be moments that you throw in the towel, that you pause, but in the pause, the reflection and the clarity comes in to what you should do next, where you should go next on your journey if you decide to continue.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think you touch on such a great point because the whole story that I told you was me as an artist, as a dancer, as a performer. The dance entrepreneur, oh, that's new. That is from this year. That was birthed at the start of the year. Of course, I was making money through bookings and I would host classes sometimes, but the seeing this as a viable business, oh my gosh, that's like a Pandora's box of things to talk about, because just getting to the point where I could believe that this could be a business was like a thing. Like, who the heck is going to want to pay for it? Like, there's no money in dance. And then who's going to want to pay for African dance?
Mm-hmm.
Like, out of all kinds of dance, and just getting to a place where it's like, wait, can this actually be a viable option was such a process. And so I've thrown it like the layer of entrepreneurship, like we were talking about earlier before we got on the podcast, like that's a whole new can of worms, so much respect to entrepreneurs, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole other layer, because now you're adding like monetization, you're adding like just success, like monetary success. And um it's not a joke when it goes from being like a hobby or a side thing to like the thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so much that comes with it, especially I know that probably tugs at your creativity all the time, where it's like, oh, I need to build systems. I need to have logistics. I need to have a sales funnel. I need to put my face out there,
Yeah.
where those things can be very scary and very overwhelming. But also there are spaces where people can support you and not feel like you're out there by yourself trying to figure it out, because it can be very daunting. It can be daunting. And you're like, but I thought that people were going to come to me. Like, put a price out there.
Hmm.
It's like, no, there's a little bit more that has to happen. And so I commend you,
Absolutely.
because I have watched you over this year, over 2025. And it's been so exciting to see where, even last year you started with, okay, here's a clip. I'm going to show you this move. And
Hmm.
actually last year was like, I'm just going to show you this clip. I'm going to be in different places. I'm like, where's Sarah now? Where's Sarah now? And then the growth where you've been like, oh, we've gone to this conference, we do this class. There's been testimonials that have been brought in. And then also I know that you started with the, let me show you this move. Think about these moves or this dance that you wanted to do. And so hat tip to you, flowers to you,
Thank you.
because I have seen how you've been very intentional and thoughtful with how you've been growing the business and what that has looked like. So if you want to share a little bit more about the offerings that you have and what you're currently doing as you look towards 2026.
Absolutely. I would say our focus is definitely Afro Dance to the world through instruction, online and in
Mm-hmm.
person. So we're very much focused on giving people the DWSP experience when we're with them in the room, but also on our social media, on our YouTube, um, making it accessible in terms of steps. Like a lot of those moves that you may have seen, some of those viral moves, like, hey, like let me show you the 1-2, let me show you the secret behind that move, and kind of ushering people into something that I know they'll find very fulfilling, but sometimes they need that entry point. So teaching moves, teaching mindset, but also where the business has evolved a lot is also my evolution in terms of not just it being about the moves, but about being and the culture behind it. That's something that we also focus a lot on. Like, what is the name of the move? What country? Because we want to preserve it. We don't
Yeah.
want to just be like, this is a like one trick pony or like a flavor of the month type of thing, which is what we're seeing. And I think that's where we're at risk. I think as an African uh as African people, there's been a struggle sometimes with systems and the institutionalization of things. And that's how other people are able to benefit from something that is yours, because they were able to just take what you did and then
Yep.
put a system around it, and then they are able to spread it. And so wanting to make sure that we keep it with African people and Black people at the center, but making it accessible to people of all races and all ethnicities because it's for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so being able to teach the culture is very important, the knowledge behind it, making it accessible and how we do it so it's not overwhelming. But also providing those steps. I mentioned the mental health. So much of what we're doing is using Afro dance as a tool for joy and liberation. And so that's one of the biggest testimonials I was starting to see. I'm asking them like, how did you like class? And as much as they're saying like, I learned this move and they're saying like, I feel like I can do anything. And I wasn't realizing that in the classes, I was motivating them to learn, right? But
Yeah.
I realized that so much of my story and the insecurities and the comparisons and stuff that I faced, I was now trying to address and make sure that they weren't experiencing it in the space. And
Mm.
I'm seeing how people are saying like we just started our weekly classes. They're starting in January. We dropped our flyer yesterday, and we are almost halfway to selling out like um our package for the whole month. And I
Yay!
know I'm super excited, and big shout out to everybody who has purchased the package for the month because obviously it's like that support is so important to us. And I know that one of the reasons why is like I just feel like release.
Mm-hmm.
I feel joy. Like
Yeah.
it's becoming a thing where people are going for something deeper than just what am I learning? What move am I learning? But it's like I'm being fed here. My spirit, my soul is flourishing. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I want to do more. And I'm seeing how like that story that I experienced when Afro Dance found me, it's replicating itself to where people are like, I'm gonna teach my classes or I'm gonna build my business like coming to a dance class. It's unlocking that secret sauce that's inside
Mm-hmm.
of them.
Ooh.
So the offering is instruction, but there's a lot of motivational and therapeutic benefits that are built into the experiences, whether it's online or in person.
I love this. One, naming, highlighting the dance move, and then connecting it to the particular country or the particular region where that move or the type of dance, the style of dance. So then honoring
Exactly.
where you're embedding like the culture, the history piece around this. So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to do this move. It's like you actually know where
Yes.
this move comes from and the history around it, because there's a lot of layers to that. And then you also create in this space where it is not only in person, where they can experience and dance with you and kind of be unlocked emotionally and just like find
Yes.
that inner peace, that joy, that confidence, but then also online. And so
Yes.
I would love for you to share, your website where folks can, tap into their online presence if they are not in person or cannot get a ticket or cannot be get locked in for that sessions that you have coming up this month.
For sure. So you can follow me on Instagram at Mrs. Sarah Powell. My website, www.dancewithsarahpowell.com. And then I have TikTok and YouTube with the same name, Dance with Sarah Powell. And then we also have our first digital product. That was a very exciting thing that we dropped this year, which is called the Afro Dance Social Pack Viral Moves 1. So basically getting a step-by-step breakdown of 2 viral moves that I guarantee you have seen. If this was a visual podcast, I would demonstrate. But you have definitely seen these moves. They were one of the moves that we saw a lot on TikTok and on Instagram, and everybody was kind of trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a step-by-step breakdown with the cultural context and also with that motivational speech to kind of unlock whatever was keeping you a little stiff, not just physically, but also maybe emotionally and mentally. So you can also find that on my website, dancewithsarahpowell.com.
Awesome. And I'm going to make sure to include that in the description and the show notes as well. Okay. Another place they can find you, Sarah, is at the retreat. Okay. And you are going to be leading an
Yes.
incredible session. What I'm excited about is because y'all, when Sarah initially applied and was like, oh, I think this will be good for this track. And as you all know, we're doing business tracks. And so you'll be doing workshops based off of the maturity of your business. And I said, Sarah, I have a better idea. Let's just pull you out and you do a session for everyone, because I think everyone can be inspired for. So your topic or title is From Suppressed to Limitless: Experience Liberation and Empowerment Through Afro Dance, Dance with Sarah Powell. So, one, can you share more about that powerful title that you have and what the baddies can expect during our dance workshop and experience with you?
Absolutely. I think it's what we've been talking about. From suppressed to limitless. So much of what I've experienced in dance was a shadow of what I was experiencing in life. The insecurity I was experiencing in dance that was causing me to be very maybe shy or timid with certain moves, or me focusing so much on getting the move perfectly, was shadows of internal barriers that I had. For instance, wanting to get the move perfectly, it has become one of my strengths in teaching, but it was also a survival mechanism because I was so afraid to be seen. If I let loose a little bit, they're going to see who I really am, and they're going to see that I'm not that good. So
Mm,
I need to be perfect in the skill so that nobody has anything to say. But in dance, what was happening was that my spirit and my voice and my expression was being choked. And I realized that that wasn't just happening in dance. That was actually happening in life, where I was being a perfectionist, or I was performing without even knowing it, because I was afraid that if people really see who I really am, like they'll reject me or they won't like me. And so from suppressed to limitless is basically being able to go through this Afro dance experience and uncover like what is coming up as I'm learning this choreography, and learning a little bit about how those beliefs have actually been choking out that unique expression that is actually going to be the secret sauce to your business's success.
mm,
Because, you know, wanting to conform, sometimes we're like, well, this worked for them, this worked for them. But then we find out that that was actually a snare. It's when your true self came out, that's what everybody's been missing. And so being
mm.
able to learn that or experience that in real time through an embodied experience is what the session will be about. So I'm really, really excited. The baddies are they should expect the vibes. They should
Mhm.
expect having a lot of fun. And I think they should expect um, tapping into themselves and learning a little bit more about themselves through the session.
Yes. And I am so excited because from all the things you shared, but this will be like our culminating activity that we're doing to close out our day of workshops. So, we'll have breakfast, we'll have workshops, we'll have lunch, we'll have a chance for you to get with your fellow track folks to kind of think through the lessons throughout the day. And then you're going to close it up with Sarah. And then that night, the shenanigans will happen because we will have our
Yes.
closing retreat party. So you can practice all of the different things that you learned from Sarah at our party that evening. So
Yes.
I'm so excited and really honored that you are bringing your talents and your joy and your skills to the Baddie community, because I know that it's not only going to unlock all of those things that may have been held up with the baddies, but I also know it's going to unlock new, exciting avenues for them within their business. Because someone might be like,
Yes.
"How's dance going to help my business?" Baby, it's going to help. Okay,
Exactly.
it's going to loose some
I think
shackles.
it's
Okay.
that it's gonna remove some shackles, and it's also gonna be like get us thinking. I think what is making DWSP a success right now is that it's my husband and I are both co-founders. We're both creatives. He's a musician. He has a big background in like media, and then I'm a dancer. I'm an artist, and so coming from that lens and applying it to now entrepreneurship and business is what is making it kind of original. And so I think getting that challenge of like, what does dance have to do with entrepreneurship? It's that type of thinking that I believe will set you apart from your competition. Because most people are not seeing the connection yet,
They're
but
not.
we'll
They're
change
not
that.
seeing it yet. Okay. And when they see it, Sarah, you're gonna be booked and busy. Okay. Everybody's gonna be dancing
Period.
with Sarah Powell.
I
So
love
I
it.
would love to kind of, as we start to wrap up, one, I want to create a space for you to share where you hope to be in the next 2 to 3 years with Dance with Sarah Powell, and how can the community of baddies and friends listening right now support you in getting to that 2 to 3 version?
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Um, in 2 to 3 years, I definitely see us having our first physical location
Mm-hmm.
opened. My husband has this vision of making it a full immersive experience, really tapping into the wellness aspect. So still Afro dance, you're still getting the skill, the technique, the culture at an industry level, but you're also getting real wellness experience, whether it be massages and different little tools to really give you that spa treatment while you're experiencing Afro dance. So seeing that come to life, even if it's on a smaller scale at first, is where we see ourselves in the next 2 to 3 years. I also see Dance with Sarah Powell going across the globe. I want to thank you and just again honor you and show you your flowers for being able to see the connection, because this will be the first time that we actually put Afro dance on a entrepreneurship summit um, platform.
Yeah.
And it's so big for the participants because they're going
Mm-hmm.
to be exposed to something they most likely haven't. But it's huge for me and DWSP, and it's huge for the culture. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, it's about elevating it and having people see it on the same level that they may see other art forms.
Yeah.
And so, thank you for that. So I see ourselves like being able to go around the world, not only teaching workshops that are focused in the creative space, but also teaching more, giving more of these workshops at summits, at corporate events, and really showing people the power not only of Afro dance, but the power of creatives. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's also a statement for the creator economy. Creatives
Yeah.
are experiencing that. Everybody wants them, but people are still not really respecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Content creators, for instance, everybody wants them, but who's putting a serious price tag behind them right
Right.
now? We're in this emerging economy and this changing world. And so this creatives and dance and art have a major place in the entrepreneurship and business space. And so that's another place that we see how you all can support. Social media helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Share. You never know who's going to see that post. So if you can share, please share, comment, um, and um, and also if you have an event or or if you're traveling over to Baltimore, we would absolutely love to be able to bring the DWSP experience to you or to your event. So those are a few ways that you can definitely support us, because the more people see us doing what we do, the
Mm-hmm.
more we know people are going to want to see us do what we do.
Hello. Okay. Yes. So we are going to follow. We are going to
Yes.
book you. We are going to
Yes.
repost you. And who knows, we might know, a realtor out there, some commercial real estate, to be able to get them that space sooner than later. Okay. So we're
Yes.
gonna put that
That's
out there.
true. That's very true. That's very true.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna speak it into existence. It is gonna happen. Okay,
Yes.
Sarah. So, how we like to close things around here is with our Baddie benediction. So, like a good Southern Baptist, the Baddie benediction is your way of kind of wrapping up this episode that focuses on you and Dance with Sarah Powell. So, your benediction can be a blessing through a prayer, it can be a quote, it can be a song, it can be a dance move. But how would you like to close this episode with your Baddie benediction?
I would love a prayer. I would love a prayer.
Okay, let's go.
Father, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank you for this platform. I want to thank you for Malliron and Baddies with Business and the vision that you've put in their hearts I say there because I know it's Malliron and she has a team. I thank you, Lord, for how this vision is helping so many people, including myself, people that have often been marginalized, people that have often felt defeated. I thank you because you're helping us live out our dream, live out our purpose through this platform. And I just pray that as we close out this year, that every single person who's listening would be emboldened to pursue their purpose, to pursue their dream, to pursue the thing that lights them up in 2026, because you've created us to live and to truly be alive. And so I pray, Father, that that boldness and that clarity would come to every single person listening, that they may really live out their purpose and what you designed them to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Baddies with Business. It's been great to have you. I hope you've learned something and gained some new insight. Check out the show notes to find out more information about the featured baddie. Go give them a follow and continue to support Baddies with Business by visiting www.baddieswithbusiness.com. Also, you can follow Baddies with Business on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Baddies with Business. We look forward to hearing from you soon. If you want some behind the scenes and to check out the clips, consider being a Patreon. Information in the show notes. Thank you, and continue to be bad, be bold, and be a baddie.